Last men standing. In this video I'm going to show you how to create this image here. This composite image is slightly more complicated than the others, but it's due to the amount of layers that's added into it. It was a fun edit to do. That's what I really love about the editing. They are really fun to do, and once you've got the idea and the imagination to create these images, it's fun to put it into practice and to try them, because you learn new techniques each time you're doing them. You learn quicker ways, plus you get quicker at them. This one here I sped up, and I sped up the edit so that you can see it and you're not sitting watching me masking out areas. There's quite a few layers in this one. Some of the layers are textures, and as I have said, I have a texture pack coming that will be there for you to download. I just like to try them in my own images first to make sure they are working before I say there's the texture pack for you. So as this is quite a long video, without further ado, let's dive right in. Okay, now that we're in Luminar, the first thing we are going to do is we are going to go into layers, and we are going to add a new image layer. And for this we're going to start with the background and move forward with this edit, and you'll see why. So with that loaded, first thing is a layer transform, because we need that up there slightly, just to around about there. I would say we may come back in later and edit that, but we'll see where it's going to take us just now. Click done. The next thing we're going to add in is we are going to go to a new image layer, and we are going to add these trees here. We're going to click open, and as you see they've taken up the aspect ratio of that, so we're going to go layer transform, and we're going to take them down and just squash them to around about there. We're adding fog to this image, so it's going to help with this, the fact that there's clouds and there's fog there as well. So I'll maybe take that up. Once I've got everything in place, I can go back and adjust it before I actually put in the soldiers for this image. So I'm going to place that a bit there just now. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to edit the mask, and I'm going to use the brush, and I'm going to choose erase, and I'm just going to take the brush size up, and I'm going to paint away here, just like that, because the mist for this image is going to help us. Paint away just a bit there. I'm just clicking through that. I may go back in once everything's together and add a couple bits back in there, just so that sign's not showing. A couple bits in there for the mist, and there. Perhaps take that back out, but as you see, we're just actually laying the document together, the image together just now, because I actually think once the bridge comes in, I think I'm going to have to take some of the sky across as well. So I'm going to turn off edit mask, and I'm going to go in and add new image layer. So this is building up relatively quickly for this. The next thing is the bridge, and that's where that's coming in. So again, layer transform, and I'm going to push that to around there. Now, I can't see exactly what's going on just now, but that's okay for this, because what I'm going to do now, and I know people have mentioned this in the past, but I'm going to turn down the opacity slightly, just so that I can see where I'm working. And as you can see here, what's happening is there's a tiny bit of the sky left in here, and there's some of that left in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave that at that, and I'm going to go back into my layers, and I'm going to go down here, layer transform, and I'm just going to pull this across to about there and move it back and click done. Then I'm going to open up my top layer again, just to see where that is going to sit, and we've covered that quite nicely. I can actually afford to bring it back just to under there, so I'm going to do that, and I'm going to go layer transform, And the guide I used was here, so I'm going to bring that back to about, say there. Click done, go back up into my top layer. Everything's looking good so far. So what I'm going to do now with the top layer is I'm going to get rid of the sky that I have in there and some of the area down here. So I'm going to turn the opacity of the top layer back up, and I'm going to get into edit mask and use the brush, and I'm already set at erase, so I'm going to go in and paint some of that away just now, just quite a big part of it, just to about there. And then as we get closer into the bridge, I'm going to take the size down, and as we get closer to the bridge again, I'm actually going to take down the hardness of the brush. So I'm just going to paint there just now, down a little bit. See, that's beginning to eat into the bridge there because of the feathering. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the softness right down to about 10. I'm going to take the brush size down as well, and I'm using the square brackets on my keyboard. I'm going to zoom in, and as you can see there, it's eating away at it there. So what I'll do is I'll get rid of what I don't want first and go to there. And this is not going to be perfect for the purposes of this video. This is just to show you different techniques with this and how some of the images that I do come together. And not really the thought process, but the build process of them. So I've got in here as well, down to there, there, and just continue that right round till I feel I'm getting to a safe point, because I'm going to lose some of this bridge in the mist. And I'll go there, and you can see it's knocked it off slightly. And because I've got quite a hard edge on that, I can go in here and get rid of a majority of it without affecting what I've just done. So there we go in there. And here. I'm just looking for wee bits to tidy up. But as I say, because of the video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get through it quite quickly, and I'm not going to take too much time, just to let you see how it all comes together. So we do that as well. I know that that has eaten in there, so I'm going to go to paint, and I've still got a hard edge in my brush, so I can afford to go back in and do that. Right, so I'm going to leave that at that. I'll go to erase again, take my brush size down and eat away at these areas here. Right, I'm going to zoom out now. So far I'm quite happy. I'm not touching this area just now, apart from that bit there, until I have my foreground and the placement of my soldiers in. But for now, what I am going to do is I'm going to bring in another image layer in this case, not an adjustment layer. So I am going to go click close edit mask and go in and add a new image layer. So now we're going to play with the background mist, which is this one here, and I'm going to open that. And again, that is going to take on the aspect ratio of the document. So the first thing I'm going to do is layer transform. And I'm going to grab that and move it up to around there. Bring that down slightly there, take it out to the sides, just so that it's overlapping the document slightly. Click done. Then I'm going to go in and choose my blending modes. Screen, lighten, might be a bit too dark, overlay, soft light, lighten, I will get away with. Screen lets you see what's going on, and it also takes some of the document out, some of the background images out, and actually I'm going to leave it at screen for this. So I'm going to leave it at screen, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to increase the size of it again. And we may jump back and forward while we're doing the document, while we're building it up, just to get to see where we are. So I'm going to go back into layer transform for this, and I'm going to stretch up the mist before I take out this area here. So if I take that up, you can see it creeping up beyond the bridge. And I'll take it down there a tiny bit. Just about there. And I understand that there's a difference in colour here within the skies. That's fine, we take care of that at the end. This is really just the build. So I need to take out some of this here now that I've got the mist and everything else in. But what I'll do first to show you is I'll go in and I'll go add new image layer. And last but not least, we will add the grass. And again, that's going to take up the entire aspect ratio of this document, which we don't want it to do. Layer transform. This time we'll take it down. So we know that we've got grass in here as well. So if I let that go there, you know that you've got grass in there and a fence and the rest of the bridge going into the distance. But remember, when we're doing this, we're putting the soldiers over this. So some of the areas just now we can go in and adjust later, and we can blend them when we do this. I'm only using this here. What I'm doing is I'm watching this area here. I know that I can get rid of that. So if I take it up to around about there, knowing that I can get rid of that area there, it'll blend better. Then I'm going to bring the mist layer back on top. So I'm going to take that up to about there. Just roughly, we will change this. I'm going to click done. For me just now, that's very vibrant, so I need to see how it's going to work with the document. So for this layer, I'm going to go into colour and I'm going to pull the greens back slightly. So I know the yellows, because they are brighter colour, they will work better, but I'm going to bring the luminance back on there, bring the saturation back to around there. It's not to match the document at this stage, it just so I can see an overall view of the document. Next, I'm going to get back into the layer and I'm editing the entire layer here. So I'm going to edit the mask of this layer. I'm going to use a brush. This time I'm going to use a raise. I'm going to take the softness back up and I'm going to take a big brush here. You'll notice that I am painting above the area I want to take out. So if I go in there, this will provide a better blend when we change the mist. Just in, say, about there. So you can see the entire image coming together even at this point. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to grab the background mist layer and not the edit mask. I'm going to grab the background mist layer and move it above. And then I am going to take out some of the background mist in here. So you can see how that's worked there. I needed to see how it was going to come together with the blending of the grass. And because we've put the mist now above, we can see roughly that the blend is not going to show up. So that's a good thing to do. Now I can edit my mask with this. And again, erase, softness at 100, opacity at 100. And I am just going to go in here and edit some of that away. And take it to there. Remembering that I've got the soldiers coming in, so I know I can go back in and edit this at any point. I'm going to leave it at that for this. I now want to get rid of some of the layer with the bridge. So I'm going to go back into this layer here and edit mask. I'm going to use the brush. I'm going to be careful here with the opacity though. I'm going to get rid of quite a bit, but I want to do it in stages. I don't want to suddenly get rid of it. So I'm going in here just to paint that away. And as I always say, remember, I am getting rid of some of the areas here, and the mist and the grass is going to come back over this. So it will all tie together at the very end. And just if I click here a few times and work into the bridge, it kind of gives the impression that the bridge is going into the trees there and towards the building. Quite happy with that. There we have the blend. Knowing that again, as I keep repeating, that the soldiers are going to be over the top of this. Okay, this is now the longest part of the edit, so what I will do is I'll speed this area up, but I'll talk you through, before I speed it up, I'll talk you through what I'm going to do. Next is the soldiers. Add new image layer. and we go in and we grab the soldiers here. And as you see, they fit this aspect ratio, but I may take them up in size. What I'm going to do, and I know this doesn't work for everyone currently, is I am going to turn the opacity down in this layer just to see where the soldiers are. And if you notice there, it's worked quite well from the point of view of the placement of these, that the bridge is going to disappear behind him, so any edits that we have missed are going to be hidden behind them. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to raise them slightly, because I'm looking for a nice line and a lead line from these. So I am going to turn that layer transform on, and I'm just going to move them up. If I do that to about there, that allows me to edit and make sure that the feet are not too close to the ground, because there you'll see his feet not too close to the bottom of the composition. These rocks will disappear, everything in there will disappear. So I'm going to click done at that. I'm quite happy that that's worked there. So you see, relatively quickly this has came together, and it is, before as someone asked what's my thought process for these, my thought process is actually inspiration. It's this one here. I was playing Call of Duty, and that's how this image came together. Just the thoughts of that, and then going in and searching for images that I felt could make that kind of image in a still image. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take that right up, and I am going to zoom right in. Right, so you can guess now. You can see the edges, you can see there's a lot of detail in here, and I'll show you what I mean. If I go into edit mask, my softness will drop to around 21. I may change it though. But the size of the brush, the opacity will go back up, because I want rid of everything in here. The size of the brush will drop right down. So I'm going to take that to that. So you're going to see I'll start this, and we are on a raise. So you see the amount of detail that's in this one and what I've got to get rid of. So what I will do is I will speed through this. I'll speed up the edit for you to let you to see what I keep in and what I remove, and then I'll let you see how I blend the grass into their feet. So for this next bit, I'm going to speed this entire edit up. Okay, right, that's us now sped right through that to let you see how to get to this final part for the masking of the soldiers. Right, now I'm still in the edit mask. I've zoomed out, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the softness back up, because we need to blend their feet and everything in around here to the grass. So what I'm going to do is I am just going to paint over this, and then I'm going to paint some of it back in, just a tiny bit, because we need to keep their feet believable in this. So although it is a composite, we need to try and make it as believable as possible, and let that blend through. And you can see, I know that there's still some areas of the image showing through, but once we've put the final colour in this, it won't show just as much. Let's take out some of his knee. I have a video rendering in the background as well, that's why I'm getting a slight lag when I'm doing this. I should perhaps stop rendering videos when I'm creating them at the same time. And there we go. So we've got quite a nice blend in there. is going to work for this image. I'm going to take the brush down a little bit. There we go. Okay. Right, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn off Edit Mask, and I am going to add a new image layer because we're nearly done now. So I'm going to add a new image layer, and the one that I'm going to add here is Final Smoke. There. Okay, then I am going to blend that, and I'm probably going to use screen again. Yep, I'm quite happy with that. I am then going to get into Layer Transform, bring it down slightly. So you can see we've still got vibrant colours going on here, which I don't really want. So I'm going to deal with them in a minute. I'm just going to bring the smoke down here. I'll probably stretch it right out to around there, maybe rotate it slightly, and just maybe to about, say about there, and I'm going to click done with that one. And then 2 more layers to add before I actually change the colours. So I'm going to add a new image layer, and this time I'm going to add the debris. I'm going to add debris 2 first. I'm going to click open. I'm going to layer transform this one. I'm going to drag it down just to about there, stretch it out. Now this is to be as random as possible, so I don't mind the fact that I can't even see this just now. This is to be as random as possible. So I'm going to do that, click done, go back into my blend mode, going to go for screen again. Yep, quite happy with that. Turn the opacity down. Then repeat the process for the second one. So I'm going to get in, add new image layer, and I'm going to add debris. Again, layer transform, go in, bring that one down, take it out to about there, drag it down, being as random as I possibly can with this, but at the same time I may come back in and move them, because that's the good thing with this. I'm going to click done, blend mode again, screen, and you'll see that these ones are more vibrant, so I'm going to pull these ones back, more vibrant. These are lighter, so I'm going to pull these ones right back to about there. It just adds a slight touch of drama to the image and some action to what is quite a still image. I may even pull that back further to about there. Yep, quite happy with that. The next thing we're going to do, that's everything in, you can see all the layers there. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to tone this image. So, first thing, add new adjustment layer. In this adjustment layer, I am going to play with the saturation of the entire image. Going to bring that back. I am also going to go in and play with the greens. And I'm going to bring the luminance of the greens back, saturation of the greens back. Also going to get in to play with the oranges here. I'm going to pull the saturation of them back, because for this image we're wanting quite a kind of desolate look, a kind of desaturated look that will match the image well. So I'm going to turn the luminance of them down as well. I'm going to get into the yellows, pull the saturation of them back slightly, not too much with the yellows, and pull that back to about there. Next thing, I'm going to get into AI Enhance, Accent, AI Structure, push the structure slightly. I'm going to then go into the Orton effect, which is in here. I'm going to bring the Orton effect into it. That's looking fine so far. Yep, looking good so far. Next, add a new layer, new adjustment layer. In this adjustment layer I'm going to add the looks. And for me, I'm going to add my Camden, because that is my favourite one. There's my Camden added. I'm finding the whites in here. The Camden's also brought up some of that layer there. So I'm going to go for Camden Fade, just to check that it doesn't do it. See, this is the good part of the entire process. I can now go in, and Camden Fade actually worked quite nice with that one. So I know that one of these layers here, which contained all the smoke or the debris, is causing artifacts here. So I'm going to turn one of them off, and it's not that one. So I'm going to turn that one off, the smoke, and it's the smoke layer that's causing it. So I'm going to turn my looks off as well, so that I can see the image big. I'm going to turn off the debris 2, I'm going to turn debris 2 back on, and that is appearing with debris 2. I actually found the smoke just too much there. I can pull it back though, I can go back in and pull it back. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back into debris 2, and I am going to pull that back there. And I'm also going to edit the mask. I'm going to take the erase, softness up and erase, and I'm going to take the brush up. And I know that those lines were coming in there. So we're not going to see any difference just now. But knowing that once we turn the top adjustment layer with the look on it, it's going to show back up. So I'm going to go in here, and what I'm doing is I'm basically taking away any of the straight edge. So I'll just go in there and do that. Then I'll turn the top layer back on, and you can see already that's got rid of it. So what I'm going to do is turn debris 2 on, it should reappear. Then I'm going to get into debris, then I'm going to go back into debris 1 layer, and I'm going to do the same. So I'm going to edit mask with the brush, and I know it's around here. So what I'm going to do is erase, and I'm just going to paint randomly through here, knowing the angle that I had. Because all we're doing is we're looking for a blend in here, and you'll see some of it disappearing down here. And then I'm going to turn the top adjustment layer back on, and that has taken care of it. What I'm also going to do is I'm going to turn the final smoke back on, because I found this final smoke too bright for this image. So I'm going to turn it back on and take the opacity right back to see if it suits the image. So hopefully by that, anytime that you're creating one of these images, if anything like that happens, at least you'll know where to go in and correct it. The smoke I find too bright, so I am going to take that right back, just a bit there. Turn on the top layer again, just to see how it looks with the final image. That's much better. That is much better. So I'm going to, last but not least, add one more adjustment layer. And this adjustment layer is going to be Camden. I want to see what it does to it, because I'm aware of how the colours are working with this. I really like the desaturated look, but I want to see what this Camden is like when I turn that on. And for me, that's the one. That's the final image. Click apply. Hopefully you found that video useful, and thanks if you stuck right to the end. Thanks for watching it, because it is quite a long edit, that one, although I sped some of it up. You can see that how by bringing objects in a certain order, you can still move them at a later point if you're not too happy with the final outcome, and you can always go back in and edit because of the layers. So hopefully you did get something from that video, and hopefully perhaps it's inspired you to try something similar, or to try editing, or to look at editing your composite images in a different way with Luminar. It's nothing new from any of the previous videos I've done. It's perhaps a slightly longer edit with this one, but it was still fun to do. I still love the results I got. Looking back at it now, would I have changed a couple of things? Yes, I would. That's the good thing about your images. They're never finished. They never are finished. I actually wish I'd added a bird in that, or a couple of birds, just to help with the scale of the background. That, I think, would have added a slight more dynamic to the image. If you've enjoyed this video, please check out some of the videos in the channel below, and if you're currently not a subscriber, please consider subscribing, because that would be greatly appreciated. Thanks again for watching.